Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices. I am Latoya, and I am sitting next to some powerful men in this room. And who is to the left of me?
Brian Sanders, lead organizer. Brian Sanders, lead organizer for Wisconsin Voices. Good morning, happy Monday, and hope everybody had a restful weekend of some sort.
Oh, that's great. And who's to the left of me?
And I'm Joe Dre. I'm the policy guy for Wisconsin Voices. Happy Monday, everyone. Great to see my crew and be back in the office again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
What's going on?
And we have to introduce our newest member of the staff.
Come on through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Slide. So how we feeling, everybody? How we feeling this morning?
Oh, let her come this way.
Feeling great, man.
We just been filling in some spots real quick.
Yeah. Here you go.
Alicia, come in.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Go. Okay. All right. So we're gonna introduce her real quick. New person to our team at Wisconsin Voices. Go ahead, tell them who you are. Welcome to the team, by the way, officially.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Lanisha Martin. I'm the new communications director with Wisconsin Voices.
All right.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
Welcome aboard.
So, how's it feel about joining the team, Nisha?
Man, it feels good. I already feel like I was a part of the team. You know, I was a canvasser over the last 6 months with Wisconsin Voices, out registering people to vote, and man, all of them welcomed me in with open arms, and I just already feel like I was a part of the team. I don't even feel like I'm just now joining. So
we stay shouting y'all out the last 6 months through the voter registration campaigns, shouting out, you know, organizations that y'all work with and everything y'all been contributing to Wisconsin Voices. So again, thank you, and you know we're gonna be a great fit. So
yeah, man. Today was a hard day though. Today was the first day I walked in Keon's office since the last day I talked to him. And I almost broke down when I went in there, but I stayed strong. But it was just, you know, like, man,
yeah, I know.
It kind of fucked with me a little. I mean, I don't need to be on the radio. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. It just messed with me a little bit. Just my first time just walking in his office. I know Keon was a good dude. He always talked about WNOV in the radio, and he was just always excited. And now I got his position, so it's a bittersweet moment.
It is.
Right.
It is.
We're gonna hold it down. We're gonna have a lot of fun with that. You know, me and him was big on, you know, making sure we eat good. So we're gonna just keep the tradition going and making sure we're eating healthy too, because it is the holiday season. So
I don't know who
a lot
he's
of
talking
gravy.
to about some healthy.
You've seen what we bring into the office, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I seen what y'all. I seen what y'all bring in.
Brian is a healthy dude.
Yeah, I be trying.
Apples and peanut butter this
Yeah,
morning.
they know it's trail mixes and apples and peanut butter and yogurts. Like I was telling you, I've been off my stuff a lot the last 6-7 months, now a year. It came quick, you know. So I do got to get back on just doing everything and following my regimens, because you know there's a lot of gravy and chicken and smothered stuff at this time of the year, and gumbos and fried foods, and a lot of mistakes gonna be
stuff
made.
that sticks to your ribs.
Yeah, right,
sir.
and everything else, right?
Yeah, right.
But we got some interesting topics we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk more about election issues that is important to the community. We ask that if you have any input on these conversations, please give us a call at 414-444-5250 or 414-444-5253. But we're going to start the topic with the economy, Social Security, and the minimum wage. And I'm gonna let Joe kick it off.
I don't know if you guys paid attention at all over the weekend, but the Republican nominee for president decided to shut down a McDonald's and serve French fries and work in the drive-through.
Yep, seen that.
Didn't know if you all saw that. That was out in Pennsylvania. Definitely staged. They closed the McDonald's down for the entire day and had some folks come through, really just kind of a photo op, you know, but I think it pulls into reality, and it starts to make you think a little bit about those folks that do work, you know, in the fast food industry, and some of those folks that work some of those jobs that we're still fighting to get them a proper minimum wage. Toya, you were in the fight for 15, so you know a lot about this.
And Nisha was as well.
And Nisha, yeah. So, we haven't seen an increase in minimum wage since 2009, which it's at $7.25. And for someone who was in office for 4 years and not once brought up the issue to raise minimum wage or pushed for Congress to increase minimum wage, to go in there and do this job now, I'm kind of curious how everyone else thinks and everyone else feels about that.
Well, I feel two ways about that. So let me start with Kamala Harris. She says she supports Congress raising the national minimum wage, but so far, Biden administration, they did a minor step to helping support a better cost of living, but a lot of you seen this too, Nisha, here. A lot of our politicians tend to raise what is so convenient for them. Like here, they raise the county workers minimum wage to 15. They as well raise their federal contractors to $15 an hour. But why is it that we can get certain sectors of the employment sector raised $15 an hour, but we don't see the average person working? Like he's at McDonald's, and you had to literally stage this to close down this place to even work that position.
And were those workers paid for that time off? I would love to know that as well.
Even like, I agree with you on that, but also their skills and what they do. You couldn't just go there and perform their job at the drop of a dime. You had to stage the whole thing to where certain people come through the drive-through, certain people they see you. I'm sure you didn't put those fries in that basket or anything. You probably shook the basket, but on his behalf, for real. Because people working at McDonald's, me and you both know, get massive burns and get told not to go home. I have a burn on my arm from Wendy's, pouring out the grease right here. And it took me some years of cocoa butter to kind of get that to blend in. And
different schedules too. I mean, sometimes those folks are working in the mornings, then they'll turn around and work in the evenings. It's just, if you have kids or you have obligations outside of work, that can make it really difficult for those folks. And then, not to be able to make a livable wage on top of that, it makes it even more frustrating. So we understand why the workforce is a little bit frustrated.
Right. And so I'm going to say what his view on it is. He said that $15 an hour or minimum wage would eliminate jobs. He's threatened to veto it if it comes past his desk. And he questions the need of a federal minimum wage, period.
So let me.
So he's saying let the states decide.
Let me.
He's real good at that.
I'll give an example. So Denmark has if you do the translation between American dollars and their currency, they have about a $22 an hour minimum wage. And I'll tell you right now that a Big Mac in Denmark is about 3 cents cheaper than it is in the United States. So that narrative is kind of shot out of the water because there's real world examples of people that are doing it and it's working.
Right, but people don't mind spending money when they are working the cost of living, when they're able to take care of their family. When a person is working a job and you aren't able to just simply get your kids a pair of school shoes for the year, who is gonna go and spend $10 on a Big Mac? Of course you wouldn't. You trying to budget and pay out your bills. You know a lot about this because you were one of the organizers on the Fight for 15. I mean, you tell some of those stories, Nisha, the people that you had on your team that you talked to that was down with the cause because of their situations.
Man, a lot of people that was down with the cause just because, I mean, they knew they weren't getting paid right. They was working long hours, slaving hard in these positions. It was one worker who was working at Wendy's for over like 20 years, and they gave him a gift card for his appreciation for being there for 20 years. And he was like, man, it's some bull. Like a gift card? Like I can't get no raise. I'm still making the same amount I've been making for 20 years. Like he never had got a raise. And it was just messed up that, he dedicated all this time to this to Wendy's and they really didn't appreciate this man. So yeah, it's a whole lot of stories. I can go on and on about all the stories and how these people been mistreated, even played out of their check for money they really worked for, earned that they didn't even get in a check. So yeah, it's messed up, and people do deserve to make more money in these fast food industries. I worked on a fast food campaign in Milwaukee and also in Oakland, California, and it's even way worse in Oakland because the cost of living way higher, and they was getting paid the same amount as workers in Milwaukee. And I was like, man, like y'all really, we ain't surviving in Milwaukee, so y'all really ain't surviving out here in Oakland because
real.
Man, yeah, it was wild.
Wow.
And then to think about it, to be honest with you, he didn't even have on gloves, wasn't even sanitized or nothing, didn't even have on a mask or nothing.
Exactly. I mean, you could tell it was all a
Staged.
stage photo
Yeah.
op. To
Yeah.
try to, I think that the reasoning was to try to show that he relates to the working people. And it's just when you're a billionaire and you're trying to talk to the everyday average folks, there's such a disconnect that we can tell you're not being genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was totally staged. And as McDonald's had said, or when they came out, they had to say something. They had to they tried to clean it up. And as we've seen, our brand has been a fixture of conversations this election cycle. Why we sought this is a testament to how much McDonald's resonates with so many Americans, the company said in its memo. McDonald's does not endorse candidates for elected office, and that remains true in this race for the next president. We are not red or blue. We are golden.
Somebody on the PR team needs to get a raise, I think. Somebody on the PR
So
team
did
there.
you ask the other party, did they want to come and do one of those
So-
photo ops as well?
So the guy who owned the McDonald's was a guy named Derek Gio Camatiano. Tianiano. It's like Tonio at the end. That's what it looks like. But he's the franchise operator and owner. He said he was contacted by local law enforcement in Trump's about Trump's visit, and he accepted it. So now they said in the article that 95% of the restaurants in the country are owned by franchises. As y'all know.
Right.
So yeah. Individual, just like anybody locally, somebody come through that's on the other end, and they're like, "Oh, that she want to come tomorrow." They probably gonna pick it up quick. You already know, especially if she want to hand out McDonald's fries on Brown Deer or Tatonia. Can you imagine Harris pulling up to the Villard McDonald's and handing out
Everybody's
McDonald's.
scared of that McDonald's. They be like, I don't know what's gonna happen in there.
Hey, that's gonna be the Secret Service block for a second.
For real.
She might,
That
as well
would
pull
trip
up
me out.
look, she might as well pull up the street and go to JJ's and
No, that's the
hand out
first.
some
That'll
wings.
be well, I can say I did it twice this year. Ate McDonald's because I ain't kidding you. I ain't ate McDonald's
I
in
did it
over
twice this
15 years. No kidding. But I did meet because you could get it custom made, a triple
Yeah, you told me about your
cheeseburger.
custom made burger last week.
Yeah.
I was like, custom made.
Wow.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got them folks sick and tired. You had to pull over to the side and wait for your burger
Yeah.
to come out. I believe it was
Mhm.
like a Cobra's burger. You
Yeah.
over there having fried
Shoot,
stuff
people
and
was
put
like,
extra
that
stuff on it.
sound good. I was like, extra cheese, this cheese, and that one,
Yeah,
and
she just-
onions.
Next time, just go to Cobra's, Tori.
Right.
He ain't gonna do that to our guts no more.
For real. And the and it's no, I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah,
But burgers, Culver's
Fire.
fresh.
even
Don't go
Wendy's,
to
even
one.
Wendy's
Never mind.
burgers would be pretty good to me.
I like going to one on East Cap though.
Which one?
Midtown
the-
Culver's.
The mid,
Man.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
kinda-
with you on
I
that.
kinda retired the-
Cap is
I kinda retired the Midtown
Midtown. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's only in the clutch. If I'm like going up that way, and I was like, all right, this is the best it's gonna get.
Or West Milwaukee,
Yeah.
out there by your
Yeah.
house, bro.
Any
of the
Midtown.
Yeah, it's all about the quickness too, and within the service. I know that's big too, because I remember when y'all was doing the fight for 15 thing, and I ain't gonna lie, I was a little torn because I thought about, because at the time I was working in workforce services, and I was thinking about a lot of people that I work with when I was helping get jobs or trying to switch over, they enjoy working in restaurants. You know how many people that was a passion, was to work in somebody's restaurant. So yeah, it's important if you feel like this is where you could grow and see success, and especially if you don't want to say stagnant, you want to be an owner or assistant manager or a potential owner in the future. Yeah, you need to have a livable income, but what we were seeing and what I've seen, and y'all can see this because I know y'all worked hard and seen it. The ones that were really pissing me off, I felt like weren't deserving of that $15 was the ones that was playing with you when you would go inside the Popeyes and they'd go inside to be goofy. And, like, you got people working their butts off.
So I'm gonna keep it real with you, Brian. It really wasn't about their skills and what
it was the overall.
It was about the cost of living.
Yeah.
You working at Job Corps,
Right.
you should be making the cost of living.
And I wasn't.
Everybody should be
I was right
making
there.
the cost of living, because guess what? You could scratch this 15. I'm glad I can't cuss on the radio, so it makes me think.
Yeah.
You could scratch this $15 an hour now,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because actually the minimum wage should be like $24 an hour
100%
for
right.
a person to be able to take care of their families. We're going to tell them a unique story about a girl that worked at this McDonald's right here on 27 that had holes this big in her shoes
Oh, you
and
remember
been
me saying
working
that.
there for years.
Yeah.
Her son, he literally just asked, could he have a pair of shoes for Christmas? Not a toy,
Yeah.
not the toy that was out that year. I think it was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mhm.
Was out that year. Not none of those action figures or anything. It was, can he have a pair of shoes for because everybody talked about him at school for wearing the same pair of shoes, because his mother literally working hard. That's the best that she can do. She's working there every day, giving them 40 hours a week, working her butt off to get minimum wage and have children. And if she go work another job, you gotta pay you gotta think about child care. Child care costs more in the average city. Child care costs more than your rent
Yeah, I know.
for one
Yeah.
child.
$5 to $10 a week sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh,
For real, I'm
that
glad
is
my mama
insane.
watched my son when he was that
For
little.
real.
I couldn't afford it.
So we was putting that's the cost of living that we was putting all
Yeah.
in there. It really wasn't about, because I could say the same thing, Brian, go somewhere and I'll be so mad, gotta go all the way back to a store, because you remember the morning I had to go all the way back to McDonald's because they gave me a sausage McMuffin
Oh yeah.
with egg on it,
Yeah,
and I don't
yeah.
eat the egg.
Yeah, I don't eat
the
the egg
egg make me sick. I don't eat the egg.
Make everybody
And I
sick.
specifically said the girl was just so hooked on the one with the egg, and I'm like, no,
I
just a
remember
regular
that.
sausage
Yeah.
McMuffin.
Earlier this year, right?
Yeah. I'm like, just a regular sausage McMuffin. She literally made that sale. They charged me for the regular sausage McMuffin,
Yeah, I remember
but
this.
the one with egg costs more. She literally had left that on the screen for them to make that. When I brought it back and was like, can y'all just give me a sausage McMuffin? I don't want this with egg on it. I don't even want my sausage to have the
Yeah.
touch of egg on it. They literally went back there and just took the egg off, and I was like, can you make me a fresh sandwich, because that got the taste of that egg on it. If I was allergic to that and I'm telling you that, you're still not respecting
Yeah,
me.
because that egg.
Those are the workers.
Yeah.
I wasn't fighting for them to per se have as a skill. It wasn't about fighting for a 515 for a skill. It was more
Yeah, but
of us fighting for 15 because of the cost of
Yeah.
living. People working in America,
Yeah.
we were meaning all 50 states. People working in America should have the right to have the cost of living when they're working.
And that's where I was torn at too. It's just
Yeah.
like because I was, like I said, just thinking about that, and I had to take that away from like my bad experiences, or when I get home thinking I got this large hot French fry in my bag, and it's not in there, or I
Yeah.
get the wrong drink, so I had to take that out. Just think about living and people growing up,
Yeah, just the
it's
cost
growing
of
into
living
in their career,
Yeah.
especially all the people I was meeting at that time. That were, like I said, they really, I helped a lot of people get into new food share jobs and work, and they love food service. We need food service workers.
Yeah, they kind of like essential workers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
big
they
time.
are, because
Right.
when
'Cause some people don't know how to cook,
the
and that's their
country
only
shut
job.
down, when the country shut down, that was pretty much besides healthcare,
Mhm.
then were the and grocery stores. Then were the only other workers that was essential, and we made sure that they was vaccinated and they wore the mask and all, because we went and got our fast food.
Yeah.
I mean, we eat food. I mean, and it's not just for them, because it was the county, it was the security guards at the courthouse. It was county workers.
Mhm.
It was home care workers that take care of children, that take care of
Did y'all all include
disabled
them into
people.
y'all in
Yeah.
y'all fight too? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That it was people that took care of disabled people that literally was making $7-8 an hour, but actually taking care of a quadriplegic person,
Yeah.
and and that requires a lot of
100%.
skills.
Home
So-
care, the folks that come in and do home care, they really don't make a lot for what they do, and same thing with the folks in nursing homes.
Mhm.
They don't make for the service that they provide.
Yeah.
They are grossly underpaid.
That's
My mother passed away in a nursing home from dementia, and I remember looking at the young lady that would come in and clean her every day, and she was making way less than $15 an hour. I think she was making $12 or $13 an hour, and I thought how important that service was to my family for her to come in and do that. I felt so terrible. I wanted to pay her extra, and say, I'll just pay you out of my pocket because what you're doing is so important to my mother and to me.
Yeah. That's real.
So look at it like you just said, Joe, because that was I'm not saying selfish. I'm saying it was a self interest type of understanding.
Yeah.
We need to look at it like that in all, even with the fast food workers, a self-interest type of understanding.
Yep.
Somebody, I'll say this, my dad used to go to McDonald's every morning after he retired on Villard right here, which is crazy to be, and on 9th and North. He used to, when he stayed over on 7th Street, 7th and right, he used to go to the one on 9th and North. When he stayed with me, he went to the one on Tatonia and Villard. And all his trucking buddies and all his friends that he grew up with all meet up at the McDonald's and they hang out. That's important to them. He could have cared less about the breakfast because my dad would kill you on cooking some breakfast. Boy, his fried okra and macarons and woo. My dad can go fried salmon. He can go smother
But they provided a quality of
gravy.
life.
Yeah.
Something that provided quality of life for your father.
Right.
And
that's
that's
my
a
whole
service.
point. That's why I said look at it in a way of just all of us want to make the cost of living. Right now, if I get this job up and I go apply for another job, I don't want to go somewhere and somebody tell me, oh, I can give you $19 an hour, or I get $19 an hour would not provide no services to my bills. It'll be like, oh, I'm way set behind. I'm really finna have to figure out I'm gonna be Uber eating and everything else to pay my bills. So it really takes that understanding that it really the fight for 15, and I'm glad because you was there side by side with me the whole time. The fight for 15 was not about just raising the minimum wage to that $15. It was really about the cost of living. I don't care what skill it was. People deserve to have the cost of living. That's what it really was about. It wasn't about a skill. Because at that time, we could have said the same thing about some of them workers. And I'm fighting for you. But it was really about the skill.
A lot of them workers couldn't even afford to go to work. Like, they would call us like for rides. So like, man, can you take me to work today? I'm messed up. Like they really couldn't afford to go back to work the next day. So
for real. And that is really true. A lot of them, you was like how they were living with somebody, with their kids, with family members and all, because they could not provide on their own. And they consistently did 40 to 60 hours a week. And sometimes they were cheated out of their hours, where we had to do a big claim about wage theft, where they would have them tell them they had to mandatory be there at a certain time, wouldn't punch them in, but had them working, and then wouldn't get them nothing but 40 hours a week.
And they wouldn't give them breaks sometimes.
No. Sometimes they went through lunch or every breakfast, lunch to dinner time and would not get a break. And then you had one, remember the one at the Checkers where the manager was calling them all kind of bees and traps and and let them get an order wrong. You stupid. You dumb. That's why you work here, because you slow. Like, it was just like so much dysfunction in there. Like, God dang, y'all really need a union for fast food workers. Right. But it really wasn't about that. It was really more of, we started out with, we got the full understanding of the cost of living. Anybody working in America should be able to get the cost of living. And that's how it ended out. Like, all these stories and this horror, we was like, dang, never thought of it that way. Like, and a lot of these companies go to McDonald's in Chicago, their corporate office. To get to the front door, you walking across this pretty bridge with a pretty little lake. pretty bridge with a pretty little lake.
Well, a lot of CEOs in this country now are making upwards of 1,000 times
Oh yeah.
their lowest paid employee.
Yeah,
The wage gap has
It's
grown so
the-
vast
yeah.
that there's the haves and the have-nots, and there's no more middle class left.
No, and they're finna eat
Check
the
this
way
out.
at the last little bit of the middle class now if you don't get things right this time.
Hey guys, check this out. Chris Kempinski, the CEO and chairman of McDonald's, was paid $19.2 million in 2023, which is an 8% increase from 2022. This was somewhat lower than his 2021 compensation of $20 million. Kaczynski's his compensation in 2022 was 17.8 million in cash, stocks, and option awards. Man, it's just crazy the stuff that they get. Cash, stocks.
Well, I'll
and
tell you why they
option
do the
awards.
stocks and the options like that is to avoid taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can put it in there and shelter their money.
Yep. And they ask for it,
and
right?
then you can borrow from it.
Yeah.
Tax free. So
Yeah.
you can technically put your money in there, spend it how you wish, and you never
Wow.
have to pay taxes. So when we talk about the wealthy paying their fair share, these are the things we're talking about, where they find these loopholes to get through to where they don't have to pay taxes, but folks like you and I,
Still had to pay tax.
we still got to pay it.
Word. Hey.
Okay, we're
Hey,
gonna
West
go.
gonna come get us if we don't.
We gonna talk about that some more, y'all. We want you to stay niche and talk about because you got a heck of a lot of experience in this conversation. So we're gonna go on a break. We're gonna talk some more about. We talked a lot about the minimum wage. We talked somewhat about the economy, but we were just getting to the economy. So we're gonna talk about the economy, taxes, Social Security. We're gonna talk about these important things that helps furnish our lives every day. When we come back, this is WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Be a voice with Wisconsin Voices.
break. No, you good? Yeah. So we over here laying out our past work experience and how we were able to afford things and where we was at in different places of our life about 10 years ago. Shoot, Job Corps, I think about now, they was underpaying me. The people that had the contract at the time.
They underpaying everybody. They underpaying the people now. That's
Have you ever been
now.
overpaid?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt overpaid?
No.
I don't think I've ever
I
felt
was underpaid by what it should have been a little bit. When I go back and talk to some of my old coworkers and find out what they were making versus what I was making, I was like, oh, they were trying to give me the young 20-something-year-old salary and giving like the people who felt like they had families to livable wages. That's how they was looking at me. Now I think about it now, not knowing that, I had some serious bills when I came to work at Job Corps. I wasn't just a 23-year-old. They didn't have stuff to take care of. I had a car, I had insurance and stuff like that because I had got in trouble a few years earlier without having insurance.
That's a good point, Brian, because they look at it that way too.
Yeah.
The average black person, the average black male makes 61 cents compared to a white male. The average female makes somewhere around 52 cents. No, I think it's 60 cents as well, compared to a white male. It's in that average. That's not the exact quote, but that is something that I wanted to highlight too as well, is the scale of pay for the quality of work that you give them. Sometimes these people, like you said, just because you were 20-something, they gave you that undercut pay. But somebody doing the same work as you,
he was getting 16,
right?
And I was getting like they're like I remember it was like $12.95 or $13 or something. I think they was paying, the guy who had a family. I remember at the time I ran into him a few months ago, earlier this year. I think he said he was making like 16, 17 when I was making like 12, 13.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's the thing, that we need to have strict guidelines with that. I was doing
more work than
where we need to have guidelines with that as well. That everybody should in them skills within experience of years should be getting paid the same. Within a job skills, they should get paid the same. They shouldn't all be getting paid different and working different, doing the same job but getting paid different.
Especially the way I was running up around that center. I was running around that center doing all type of reports, taking them on trips. Man, I was doing the quality of $20 work 10 years ago.
Well, that's what employers like to do when they get those young people in. They like we're gonna underpay you and we're gonna run you to death.
They definitely was.
Yep.
And they was salty when I left out the blue on them. Went over to the FSEC program. I disappeared so quick.
Do you regret it?
I went over and cut that $20 an hour so quick.
Of course, why wouldn't you?
Food share program.
You see what I'm saying? You went and caught that $20 an hour real quick, because who wouldn't? That's why they should have level skill jobs. But any job, our minimum wage should be $24 an hour now at this point, because that is the cost of living for anybody to sustain. But we have a caller on the air. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My favorite people, a lot of them. Good morning, Mr. Rideout. Good morning, Mr. Carvey. Good morning, Ms. Latoya. Good morning, Ms. Tamika.
Good morning,
Joe. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Tyrone W. speaking. Good morning, Milwaukee. Again, well, I'll tell you, there's a couple things out there, and I'll say what I'm going to say, and then I'll listen to you over the air. I'll ask you a question, and you can let it marinate. But an application is simply an application. You're applying. It's not necessarily a contract, but I mean, a lot of these young people, when you're filling out an application, is what wages are you expecting? Aim for the sky, aim for high. I'm aiming for, I'm aiming for $20 an hour. But if I fall anywhere between 20 and 15 or 20 and 10, I'm doing okay. I don't want to go no lower than 10 because it ain't worth the price of gas then. So if I'm landing somewhere in between 20 and 15 and 17, well, I got some of what I wanted, but not all of it. So aim high. I want $20 an hour. But then with modern day prices now, you may want to inch it up a little bit, but don't be greedy though. But, application is to a degree it's a contract, but it's not like the so-called contract that, I'm filling out a contract and this is what, I signed for to a degree.
Yeah, it's not an acceptance offer.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And the thing is with that, like they say, they can fire you without cause or reason. Well, see, and a lot of these teams, they'll trade you because you dropped a few or fumbled too much or whatever. But that's what I'm saying. When you're on a contract, they're looking to keep you, like LeBron James and some of these other. They're looking to keep you. They're not really looking to trade you, Giannis, them, unless you really messing up. Holiday got away from us. Players like that. There, if you got a good contract and you're doing good for championship stuff, they're not trying to get rid of you. But I'll say this, and then I'll leave. The company's got us over a barrel there because supply on demand once again, and we talked about that with the distribution centers, the warehouses, and stuff like that, because the product has to continue to move. Once the product comes to a standstill, well, everything is just, in warehouses and stacked up on shelves and stuff. And, supply on demand, once again, I'm out of toilet paper. I got to go get me some toilet paper, whatever, So, yeah, aim high for what you're asking for. But remember, it's not really a straight out contract to a degree, but it is a contract of what you're asking for. But you may not get everything that you're asking for. Thank you. Love you all. Have a great day.
You too, and thank you for your
So
comment.
just to kind of follow up on what Tyrone was saying, and thank you again. That was a great comment. Like you said, you're not gonna get exactly what you want, and like I said, this is another one of my lanes I do like talking about. But this is why it's always important, and what I always stress is making sure that you have, if you're in that food service to make yourself more of an attractive employer, you want to make sure that you're grabbing the certifications, any credentials that you can make that can put you to the next level, especially in food service. I know we used to offer a lot of food service trainings and programs when I was working for the Workforce Services or Food Share program. So anytime you have those opportunities to make yourself more certified, wherever, even if it's just being able to operate a bigger kitchen or being able to do certain tasks that even some of the managers may not be able to do, but because you have that skill set, they got to give you that extra $2, $3, $4, or $5 because you have the skill in operating or controlling or managing a kitchen or getting things out or being able to process certain stuff. So yeah, certifications and different programs that you see can just make you more attractive employer as well.
I start to wonder about the folks that can't work. What about the folks that can't work? The folks that are on Social Security, the folks that are on a fixed income where they can't make over a certain amount, or maybe a single mother that has 3 or 4 kids at home that she can't afford to go out and get a job. What about those folks?
You are so true. I still go back to the same thing again. I'm gonna let you finish, Joe, but I go back to the same thing again, that it matters that you keep building your education and getting your skills and getting your certifications and degrees. But like I said before, we had home care workers that were taking care of quadriplegic people that required an actual real skill to understand how to work their machines, take care of them, balance out their body weight, to lift them, to change them, and all. And all of these workers, my whole argument to this whole economic issue is we should be making the cost of living. I ain't even finna put the dollar on it no more. I'm just gonna say the cost of living. Everybody, I don't care what skill you got, you should be making the cost of living. If you are not making the cost of living, how do you expect a person to survive in a country that constantly, and McDonald's CEO is getting $19 million a year. $19 million a year, and they got franchises and all that, so he ain't even working that hard. I
think, again, we talking about the folks that can't work or the folks that fall between the cracks. And I'm going to go just a little bit deeper here. Maybe we shouldn't tie things that are human rights to your ability to show up and work or what you can produce. Maybe it should be that it's a human right because it's a human right. Your access to clean and drinking water, your access to food, your access to shelter, your access to medical care. These are basic human rights. And right now, if fighting over somebody, right now, if you don't have the ability to go out and get a job that has health insurance and all these things that you need, you fall between the cracks.
Yeah.
And there are millions of Americans that fall right in that category.
And we all should know a lot of them that really wish they could, but have some type of disability, whether physically, mentally, or whatever, have some type of disability or situationally. And literally can't. I got a sister who sprung her actually fractured her her tendon in her leg. She can't lift her leg or hip. And she is in that middle age where she's in her late 50s, when she's 59, and she can apply for it, but she haven't got approved for Social Security or disability yet. So how is she living? She's living with somebody else, living off them, and living her day to day, trying to make sure that she don't peeve this person off and they put her out.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's like you do
that
ask
whole
yourself that process.
That whole process, Toya, of the disability. I don't know. I'm sure we've all known somebody that's tried to go through that process. It is a grueling process that takes a long time. And you can be, if you're waiting on your disability.
Picks and choose.
I've seen people lose their homes, lose their cars, lose a lot of stuff because they're sitting waiting for that determination.
And then I done seen somebody get it like apply first time and get it like that.
I know my mom was waiting on that for some years. She was working for this transportation company when I was younger, and she like tore her rotator cuff in it. As the years went by, it made her arm worse, and she tried Social Security for years. She finally just got it, but luckily, she got a family that was still able to help and support what she needed. But
that's true.
It's tough. It's tough for a lot of folks out there, especially those ones on fixed incomes with disabilities and whatnot. I think we have a caller.
Caller, you're on the air.
Shalom, family.
Hello.
Was it your associate there, Brian, who was just talking about? I believe it. And if I'm wrong, then forgive me. But he made reference to the human rights of just the general population. And I guess what prompted me to call was that in the Constitution it mentions that the duty of our government is to meet the needs of the general population, or that is one of the goals. But I'm wondering, have any of you ever heard of this philosophy or the phrase, from each according to their ability, to each according to their contribution?
Yes.
And then that principle being attached to the philosophy of Ma'at, if you will. And some people would consider that to be a communist philosophy, because they basically try to pin it or tag it or say that, that provides for those who don't want to work, or as he mentioned, I think it was Brian again.
No, it was actually Joe.
Yep, that was
Joe.
Right, but I agree with you that I think everybody, the human rights require that people's basic needs are met.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they be allowed to advance to the level that they are capable, which takes me back to that phrase, from each according to their ability, to each according to their contribution. That way, even if you equate it to the laws of sowing and reaping, or that farmer philosophy, where a person is able to accomplish to the level of their ability. And I think that business owners, to agree, you talk about $19 million, and I'm gonna go with this, $19 million being paid to the CEO of McDonald's. Well, that CEO may or may not be a franchisee, but because of him being in the position, and then the culmination or the accumulation of all the McDonald's are able to, pay him that for organizing them, right? Similar to the way they pay the commissioners for the NFL and the Major League Baseball and
American
NBA and
Airlines,
so on and so forth.
Airlines and stuff like that. Yeah.
And yet still you can't, the average family can't afford to go see those games, right? Or go to a game any longer and buy a hot dog and popcorn because the ticket is $250 and a hot dog is, $12 and on and on and on. So I guess really, y'all were talking earlier about business, and I think that over the years, businesses have lost the purpose, which is to provide for their family, of course. But then if you don't have a healthy workforce, your business eventually will fail.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
whether you talk about, well, I can get robots to do that job, well, then you still don't have the customer base coming with the resources needed to, sustain your business either way. So it seems to me that, that whole philosophy on the purpose of business and society and how it serves society and society to serve, provides the platform for it, if you will, has been lost because of greed. And, I just think that, the overall conversation you guys have is touching on all these different areas, particularly from each according to their ability, to each according to their contribution.
Thank
if we
you
could get
so
to
much.
something like that, then people who, the people could still achieve doctorate level degrees and be compensated for that additional work because of their contribution. And those who are not able to do the minimum, those who may be handicapped, would still be able to be provided for if you weren't giving someone, 19 million
in a,
50 million a year
Yep.
just because they're running and shooting a basketball. And
Thank you so much, sir. But we gotta go
thank
to
you
a
for your
commercial break.
Mhm.
So thank you. So that was a great comment, and I really do. All of us do appreciate
Mhm.
your comments.
Absolutely.
That was great, and he highlighted and touched on some very important stuff. We have one more caller. Caller, you're on the air. Before we go to break, you have like 1 minute.
Oh, wow. Well, anyway, you look at a lot of people out here that is on disability, and some of them can't make it. It's hard to be able to balance yourself with the cost of living nowadays. But the one thing about it is that we have to teach our people to be able to go back, look within themselves, and try to build where they at and push their way up if they can get off, or do something to give back, and you'll finally find your way through being a more helper in life for yourself, because it's not all about you all the time. It's learning how to give back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is so true. Thank
you.
you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. This is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. We'll be back.
loans or how we can, just start our own thing. But we want to get Carvey P to come to the mic real quick and speak about,
And give us
what do you
his
see, Carvey?
perspective.
What you see? How you feel from the Gen Z point of view? Hey, so Carvey P speaking.
I was just commenting on a conversation we had before we went to break, and I was saying that maybe we should no, I was saying that right now is literally the best time for the people in my community to start their own business or start whatever they believe they want to invest in, and put they all into that and try
And get community support for
yeah,
that.
yeah, get community support and try to get your community to help protect what you want to invest in, rather than investing in someone else that can really care less about whatever you got going on. And I
And
feel
that,
like
thank you.
Good
and I
stuff.
feel like that'll be more prospering than wasting 20 years at
Yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
And that I agree with that totally. I started out my second job was McDonald's, but as I got older, I knew that wasn't gonna cut it. I started investing in myself, getting skills to learn how to use the camera. It's vital to learn these skills like operating Pro Tools and all this media stuff that's going on. Even if you ain't even into media, just finding a skill that you can use to make your own money off of. Like I've been operating a camera for about 15 years now, and I make good money doing it. I don't even be advertising. People just call me like because they know I do it, and I make good money off of it. So I ain't gotta really ever, if I don't got a job, I ain't really gotta ever worry about punching nobody clock because I got skills that I know I'm gonna make money off of.
Right.
That will start your own business and
Yeah.
think about it, y'all. That's why we wanted Kari to really say that. Because think about it. The advertisement, you don't need to pay all that money no more. Like they used to say, we had to stand outside back in the days and sell your CDs to get your music heard and stuff. You don't have to do that no more. You have the internet, you have all these social media platforms and all of that to be able to advertise yourself. And we as a community, we got to start standing up and supporting each other wholeheartedly in the things that we do. Because as we see, they do not give one lick of a care about us succeeding. In every way, they try to cut or bring us down from what we're doing. So it's important, and we thank everybody for calling in today. We enjoy our community listening to our conversations, and we do the utmost to make sure that those conversations are near and dear to your heart and things that you're thinking about on a daily basis. So we do appreciate y'all, and we appreciate our newest member to the team. Y'all gonna see her more on the show with us. So we got an addition. It'll be all four of us on here doing our thing again, and sometimes Tamika. Thank you so much. I was gonna let you say how you feel, Monet.
Man, I feel good. I usually ain't the person that do all the talking and I'm the behind the scenes type person, but I mean it's cool. I got to get used to it, just talking more. But I usually like do behind the scenes stuff, so this cool. Just being able to voice my opinion.
All right, and Joe and Brian, how y'all feel today?
Feeling great. I just want to remind folks that early voting starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
So get your plan, make your plan, know what you're gonna do. Go vote tomorrow.
All right.
Me in
And
the
Brian?
community, just doing my thing. I think one of the schools, and I'll be speaking at a school tomorrow to some parents, just about getting out the vote, and then we'll just be working with our partners. So we will be out there. So if you see Toya, Nisha, Joe, anybody, just say what's up and let us know. We can assist you with this getting out the vote because we are not done.
So we will
Work
be
must
back
continue.
tomorrow to talk more on election issues and what is important to you in the community. Thank you for listening to us. It's Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. See y'all tomorrow.
Peace.